her and her girlfriend started to be really ugly towards me. They would sometimes, I remember one time walking out of the lunchroom and I got hit in the back of the head with a chocolate milk. I remember a girl did, me and one of the girls were in the same home economics class, and she said, I want to do a project about, my report is about hoes. And so hoes, and she kept directing her hose towards me in the class because I sat in the front and I could hear her saying it over me. And she made up this project about hoes. And I remember seeing my name written on the walls of the women's bathroom towards the end of that school year. And I would come to school and I would come to school and I would have to bring. Hi, Natalie. How are you?
I'm amazing. So what color is your day today?
The color of my day today is red, actually.
Okay.
Like my beautiful lips.
All right. So in the spirit of Women's Month and just being a woman,
Mm-hmm.
um, I'll be on Tinder swiping and stuff. Um, how do you feel about your dating life? More specifically, recent in the last 12 months, how do you feel like your dating life has been? Like, give me a glimpse into that.
Ugh, Lord. My dating life in the past 12 months it's been a journey, but it's showed me how much therapy has helped, how much stronger I've gotten about certain, I guess, boundaries or issues or bouncing back. I'm learning more about myself, and it's a beautiful thing to still learn about yourself as we continue in this process of maturing. And
What's dating lyrics like? Is it boring?
I would say dating me is like a weighted blanket.
Is it in the summertime? A weighted blanket in the summer?
I wouldn't say it's in the summer. I would say it's in the early fall.
Do you consider yourself secretive or hard to open up?
Hmm.
Would you be a vault that had like a scavenger hunt to get the code? Or are you a vault that upon arrival, with proper credentials, opens?
I would say probably with proper credentials, I open. Um, Secretive. I would say yes. I'm a bit secretive, and I think it's just because I I've been through a lot in my life. Even going back to high school, when you have a guy lie on his dick and then you end up getting bullied your 11th grade year, it makes you want to keep stuff to yourself. Because when they drag your name through the mud and you know you aren't believed, but the guy is believed, and there's nothing you can really do about it. You tend to keep things private and safe. You also sometimes may not necessarily trust women off top, um, because of how they treated you. And I think also kind of like when the when like message boards and stuff was just starting, I remember some guy was like messaging on some message board some BS from like high school on the message board. And I was like, dang, I left Baltimore and I moved to New York, and I really wanted to leave that all behind. But here it is in some way like following me. And, it's a shame that anything a guy sometimes says out of his mouth is taken as like, this is word is bond. And well, it was funny. It was a guy who I was, he had a long-term girlfriend he was in 12th grade. I was in 11th grade. He had a long-term girlfriend that he was dating. They had happened to break up. He said he took a liking to me. So we started to talk. One time we ended up hanging out. It was like one of those holiday days off of school, spent time with each other, never had sex except what he did to me, not what I did to him. And then and then I remember maybe like a week or two later, he said, hey, me and such and such, let's say her name was Keisha. Me and Keisha are actually going to work on getting back together. Can you not tell her what happened when we spent time together? I said, cool. I understand. This is your like high school sweetheart. I showed compassion and understanding. So I never told. But then I remember weeks later, these girls started that her and her girlfriend started to be really ugly towards me. They would sometimes, I remember one time walking out of the lunchroom and I got hit in the back of the head with a chocolate milk. I remember me and one of the girls were in the same home economics class, and she said, I want to do a project my report is about hoes. And so hoes, and she kept directing her hoes towards me in the class because I sat in the front and I could hear her saying it over me. And she made up this project about hoes. And I remember seeing my name written on the walls of the women's bathroom. Towards the end of that school year, I would come to school and I would have to bring I would use nail polish remover to wipe the walls down to get the stuff that was written in the marker off the walls. So it was written everywhere. And I remember our guys basketball team had just won and we were at this one guy's house partying, and some of our homegirls tried to approach me to almost like try to jump me. It was crazy. I found out later, after they graduated and left, that the dude who told me to keep his secret about what he did to me, he lied and told people that he had sex with me, which he never did. And so the girls were mad that I had sex supposedly with this guy. And so that's why they bullied me my whole 11th grade year. But that is, in some ways, I remember I tried out for the fashion show that year. They didn't let me in the fashion show. And I carried that almost like as a grudge on my shoulder for years. And it was one of the reasons why I was like, I just got to get out of Baltimore. I got to get out of here. And it pushed me to move to New York to follow my dreams, because I knew they said that I would never make it as a model. Well, I have over 2 decades of experience working, and I'm still working as a professional model. And I proved them wrong. And maybe, sometimes I look back, maybe that was the ammunition I had to go through for my story, for me to push forward, not caring what anyone else thought, because I just knew I needed to make it doing what I always dreamed of, and to do the thing that people said I couldn't do, and that who they thought I wasn't. So, I definitely made beauty from the ashes of the bullshit. I definitely think there was a certain level of jealousy involved. Um, because I mean, sis is cute, but running into the main bully some years ago at BET Awards weekend, she ran up on me trying to say hi, and I was like, she was saying that basically she was going through her own stuff at home and she just needs someone else to take it out on. So a lot of times hurt people hurt other people. She did apologize. And I will say it definitely helped me to release and let go and move past those things. And even one of the other girls who was part of that clique, she even apologized to me one day on a thread on Facebook because somebody was saying like, yo, I remember when they was hating on you and blah, 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 blah. And she admitted that she was one of those girls and that she apologized. And she realized now that she has a daughter, I think she has a daughter or she has a child, period, that she realized how wrong she was back then. So, I don't know. I would just say, parents, please talk to your kids. Mm-hmm. Help them to not hurt other people because of the hurt that they may be feeling at home. And most importantly, guys, stop lying on your dick.
Right. Have you forgiven those women?
I've forgiven the ones that have asked for forgiveness. Yeah.
And the ones that haven't asked for forgiveness,
I mean,
they're still on your list?
I mean, I wouldn't miss them if they were gone. What they did was pain. I mean, I forgive them. I'm just saying, like, you know, it was very hurtful. Very, very hurtful to the point that I just cried a second ago, just thinking about it. But I mean, it was a lot of hurt and humiliation and, embarrassment.
So now, as an adult, Lyris, have you allowed yourself to grow with these relationships with men and like the secrecy of it all? Like we just talked about you being a private person and secretive. Now that we know, like obviously if that happened as a teenager, it will make you stand a certain way when you're around a bunch of men or even a bunch of homegirls or friends or people who are your peers, and how much you would share with them or how much you would give to them, not knowing if you could actually trust them. Do you still have that issue now? Or is that still like a conversation piece that you have to have within yourself as an adult?
I would say with women, it's definitely, it takes a second for me to open up before to trust. Men, to a certain degree as well, but I think I'm also a romantic, so I feel like to a certain degree, like, because I love so much, I'm a bit probably more able to open up to someone that I'm feeling more. But I think I don't know. I feel like sometimes with men, I'm either very guarded or I'm very open. But it's usually very open after I feel a certain level of safety or connection or like.
Or you just really like.
Yeah, or they just really fine. What can I say?
I'm trying to understand, like, because the story is that the girls picked on you and the man lied on his dick. Right? So it's both sexes have done something in reference to like trust. But for you, as you're romantic, you're more open to trusting a man or being more available to that versus a new girl's hanging out and she's like, oh my gosh, Lyris, like we should hang out. Nice your eyes. Yeah, that's it. Okay. You're like, yeah. The guy's like, hey, beautiful. Like, I think, go out one time to the ball or whatever. The opera. Lyris likes bougie things. You like a good restaurant.
I
You
do.
like a good moment. She likes an actual date.
I
She
do.
likes a date. She likes the man to smell good. She
Mhm.
wants to show, she wants to be able to wear her little dress.
Yes.
And she wants to be able to like do her thing with her
I
hair.
want to rest in my feminine. Hello.
Yes. So like with the man coming up to you in
Mhm.
the same breath,
Mm-hmm.
you'd be more open to seeing what he was talking about versus, this other Keisha. She's not that Keisha, but her name is Keisha.
Mm-hmm.
And she's really dope.
Mm-hmm.
And she has great energy. She's, you do like her outfit and she does have good energy. You can feel it, but you're still kind of like,
Yeah, I think it's because I've probably went through a lot more situations with women who kind of have done me wrong in some cases.
Mm.
So, and the thing is, I definitely try my best, and I think you've seen that. I try my best to give people a chance and not to, I do, and to not hold them um to what they did before, you know?
you definitely give a chance.
Yes.
Whatever, you definitely give a chance. I think that you know,
You what?
you're a hard sell. You're a hard sell. Even with the best packaging and the best, like, even I'm just like, ooh, why don't you
Because
just
I
try?
love, well, it's like once, it's kind of like the whole thing we were talking about with the vault. It's like, because once I open the vault, it's like, oh, you need that shirt, take it. It's like, what you need, here, I got it. It's like, here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you know the possibility. If I know that I could be that way, it's like that's what makes me more in the beginning be like, let me see. so that's why.
Well, I love when you're in love.
Thank you. I love when I'm in love too.
And I know that you could also be in love when you're not actually in love.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, like, whenever you specifically,
Mm-hmm.
whenever you have your apple of your eye, your thing,
Mm-hmm.
Lyris will get dressed. I could tell when she's texting somebody. I could tell when you're just like, oh my gosh, look at the clouds. I'm just like, oh, you see the clouds today?
The clouds are so beautiful.
Yeah, and you're just like all the
sun is shining.
yeah, and you're like humming, and I'm like, oh, mom's happy. She's making pancakes, guys.
Mm-hmm.
But then like whenever they've done what they've done, or your time has elapsed with that,
Mm-hmm.
then it's just like like I'm like, there's the clouds. And you're like, I don't know, girl. So I just know that with you, I want you to be able to be in love even when you're not in love.
Well, thank
In love
you.
with life and just these moments, because whenever we do love people, we have the ability to kind of like elevate our vibration,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I like going on dates,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I like being in love.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know what, fuck it. Sure, we could go out.
Mm-hmm.
We can hang out. Because if not, then we're going to be miserable with the cats. The cats won't even want to fuck with us. We're just going to be there.
Right.
And I think that with you,
Mm-hmm.
you've been graduating with that
Mm-hmm.
hurt part from high school
Mm-hmm.
since I got here has definitely been going away.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great. Like you said, you've been doing the work with therapy
Absolutely. All that good stuff.
and just doing your thing.
Trying new stuff and changing your mind and changing your perspective and
Be more optimistic and open-minded when it comes to
yeah.
that means Lyris has a type. That means that I've encouraged her to, let's just do the dating apps. Let's just try something. She will pass like 27 people. And they have, like, she'll, his teeth. I'm like, but wait. And then she was like, I don't like the way he had his hands in his pocket in that shot. And I'm just like, okay. And I'm just like, okay, what about this guy? So I want to actually swipe for her. That way I could just like get her to like a nice loading dock, and then we could like sift from there together. But like Lyris is like a hard sell.
I have
She's a hard sell.
But you've been optimistic.
But you've been a little bit better, you know, like this last season, you know, with like you were a lot more open, and you went into it like, you know, just like, yeah, just tried. Like I met a guy, and like I was just like, okay, don't want to talk too much about it. Let's just let her just do her thing. Yeah, you know, you started getting dressed for your little dates, and you getting understanding, and I was like, okay, this is nice. I was surprised. I was impressed, actually.
Thanks.
Yeah. And the way you handled it at the end was very impressive. You handled it very well. You spoke your truth. You know, you weren't leading with trauma. You were listening. You really stood 10 toes into like what you felt. And I appreciate the man for actually being open-minded enough to be able to have adult conversations and be like, oh shoot, my bad. Like, I didn't really understand, you know? It's like, okay. I'm like, yeah, look at her little butterfly.
Oh my God.
You know, but I think this season I really want for you to go outside.
Well, it's been cold. I'm gonna be outside.
It's not the weather.
Yes, it is.
It's a mentality.
I'm outside.
You're not.
To a certain degree.
You're not. You're more like in a greenhouse that has like windows to the outside. Maybe you get fresh air, but you're not like outside.
She be outside.
Not partying. Not just partying.
She be outside.
Parlaying, dating, hanging, hobnobbing, soireeing, all the things that make your shoulders move, and you're just like, oh, really? Have a New York night where you end up at one place and then you meet somebody and then you're just like vibing and you end up eating breakfast empanada mama at 4:25 a.m.
This is her life. She's telling.
You know,
you can tell, right?
This is a renaissance. You're different. You can't go back out here in the field acting like you're the same when you're not the same. You're different, and these niggas and people are different. You know, like things are different now.
True.
And then we survived a pandemic. Like, what are you doing inside?
Yeah, but I was outside this summer.
Yeah, you were outside this summer. Outsider, more outside. I would say more outside.
I was outside.
You know, Beyonce say, you say you're outside, but you're in that outside. Yeah, she went on dates. I'm not discrediting that stuff. You know exactly what I'm talking about, Lyris. Don't be saying that. You were out. I know you were outside. Yes, you were outside. You get 10 points.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, you guys.
At
Gosh.
the time, there's a billion points.
Oh God.
Available. And I just being more open-minded about can I pick your date on your dating app? I just would like to do it for a month, or even just, I would like to swipe for her for a month, and I would like to engage in conversations. You know, with your knowledge, I could. I would like to vet them for you.
Work.
It is work, and I want to do the work for you, with you. I want to help you load them up.
She should be, yeah. So dating apps and stuff is like, it's a lot of work.
See, that's how you know she was
to maintain all these conversations. Ugh.
And then going out is a lot of work because then
then I gotta fit you into I gotta find a schedule.
How
and
exactly
I have to make sure I look cute. I'd be outside though. I have a date tomorrow. Thank you.
Oh, that's cute. Tell us about this guy. Oh, is it the vault is no pass? I don't have credentials.
Not credentials.
My lanyard doesn't come.
Not for 8 at the table. Nope.
Okay.
No.
Well, you have a date. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Supposedly. Yeah.
I feel like Kris Jenner just found out some information from.
Well, you know.
Like, what? Okay. Well, makes 2 of us. Well, what's your ideal date? You meet Steven Rogers or whomever, and that sounds like an astute name, kind of. And
Steven Rogers.
And he's like,
no, can it be an African last name?
Okay.
Sorry.
You meet
much love to all the African men out there. I love y'all. Hi.
Meet Dustin Igalo.
Woo.
Whatever.
Hi, Dustin. Yes.
And he's just like,
can I have an Italian one too? Hold on.
Italian?
Yeah.
Okay, then you meet Francesco Ruben.
Woo. Okay. Here we go. Now we talking.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Best of both worlds.
Yes. So you meet
Volume 2. Mm-hmm.
so you meet them and they're just like, oh, my queen or whatever, you know, you're so gorgeous, like I'm only in town because, you know, you like busy men.
Just, I mean, I want you to be doing something.
Yeah, well, they doing a lot. They
Okay.
run their empire.
Hey,
Like-
glory. We like an empire.
Yes. And they're just like, hey, I'm going to be in town on the 17th.
Mm-hmm.
I would love if you have time. Do you have time to fit me in? What's the answer?
Yes.
Okay. So just please, what are we doing? What
First of all, I'm not saying what are we doing.
okay.
He's telling me what are we doing. So actually, why don't you tell me what you think I would want my guy to do for my date?
This is not how that works.
Yes, it is, because you know me.
Well, first of all, what your guy would be doing for your date is something that I wouldn't know because he would be steadfast and masculine and a proactive person.
Mm-hmm.
And what he would do was have you out of the house and I would know where you're at and I would be like sending him a thank you card. Like, ooh, I like him. Yes. Your ideal person would have plans.
Yes.
Plans.
Mm-hmm.
And they would just need to tell you the dress code.
Yes.
You live for that.
Yes.
Yes. And they would.
That's so masculine, so sexy.
Yeah. That's your ideal.
Hey, I'm picking you up at 7.
Plans.
Wear something for, we're going to this amazing seafood restaurant that's on the Upper East Side or something. Yeah. Or I have us tickets for blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Bring your dancing shoes type of man.
Yeah, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
That works for me.
And he would need to be consistent. You would need to be on a date every week.
Consistency is key. I mean, show me that you really want me.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And he would have to have good taste in music. Oh my gosh, Lyris did not swipe on these people because she didn't like their music. And I was like, what? What are you like?
Yeah. After I graduated after I graduated high school, I remember at one point I had a list by my phone and I would check off their names when I would call them. I called such and such. Okay, let me call such and such now.
Look at you.
Oh, Brad, let me call Michael.
Watering your garden.
Yeah. So I would check their names off. So I remember I called them. I'm going to say maybe 8. Yeah.
What were their roles?
I mean, then I was going out, I was going roller skate, I was hanging out downtown. It's you're just meeting guys. Okay. And it doesn't, just because you're meeting a guy or talking to him does not mean that you're sleeping with them. Hello. So yeah. Then I feel like, then and probably in my early 20s, I was better at maybe managing multiples.
You don't like the work.
I think it's about the letting somebody into you and learning their likes and dislikes, and then what if he really likes me, but then I really like this other person, and then I'm I would feel really bad about being I can't do this.
These people they're all on interview.
No, but now I've recently been hey, I just have to put in my mind that they're always talking to maybe 2 to 3 other people too. So why am I focusing on one person?
Even if they're not. Because they're
she's the savage, you guys. She's the savage.
Don't do that.
You are.
I'm not a savage.
You are.
I'm actually not.
You are.
I'm very, what they call them?
She's a PIMP.
Ethical non-monogamous. Is that that's the new word?
PIMP? Yeah, that's the word. Mm-hmm.
I just crush a lot.
Mm-hmm. I don't be crushing.
Yeah, you don't. I crush. I'm just oh my gosh. Lyris, look, I'm going out.
I'm
again.
No, I'm who's the date with tonight?
And then we don't even have names for them. We just are oh, the one with the fire truck? Or the one with the Mr. LinkedIn.
Yeah, Mr. LinkedIn. Trucker hat.
Trucker hat, right. The
Mr.
one,
Ghana.
the African one.
Yeah.
Which one? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. Until it becomes really real, you don't even need to put an actual name into your phone.
It's a personality trait that you don't mind picking up.
No, you just scroll back up to the top to see what they say. Hey, this is such and such. Save my number. Yeah. Oh, okay, that's who I was talking to. So,
Right.
I mean, until they've proven themselves, why put a name? Because then, like, if I post something on my status on WhatsApp, they're gonna be able to see it.
She likes to post status. I don't know what that's about. What does that mean?
I
Post a
like it.
status?
Yeah,
What does that mean? Like, what does post a status mean?
on WhatsApp. Yeah, I like.
Say like if you're single? What
No,
does that mean?
they kind of run it like your Insta story.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So like, one of the things is like, for everyone, or like just for your contact people or your contacts.
Oh,
I may be saved as a contact, but I don't even really speak to you like that. But you use WhatsApp. I'm gonna say it. So no.
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So you don't save their name?
Until there's like reason to really save it. Why? I mean, because you could be talking to him for a sec, you go on a date, and then you're like, oh yeah, this ain't gonna work.
Okay.
Yeah. Like the guy who I went on a date recently, and then we had the good first date, and then the second date, and then we were about to go on the third date, and then I was like, oh yeah, exit stage left.
Can you tell them about that time when he invited you to the movie brunch and then they're watching Baby Boy?
Oh my gosh.
Wait, was it not Baby Boy? What's it?
No, it was the best,
Best Man. Yeah,
The best man. Okay, so he's like, hey, I wanna we should do something fun this next weekend. I said, oh, okay, what are you thinking? He's like, they're actually doing like this throwback movie series at this movie theater in Brooklyn. They're showing The Best Man. Do you want to go? And I'm like, is he joking with me? Does he know that I'm like actually in this movie? Like, I wasn't a major role, but I did have a small speaking role. It was my first film that I became SAG on, my first professional acting role. I played the dancer in the bachelor party with the Indian costume on. And yeah, I was giving it to you. But anyway, he was like, I haven't seen it in so long, and I would love for you to join me. They serve food and everything. Tables, they have table sides and everything. I was like, all right, cool. I'll see you. We'll do brunch there. He's like, it's like, oh, great. We go to the brunch. We're sitting in the movie theater. My scene comes on, and then he's like, I was like, yeah. And I just started cracking up laughing, and I'm saying my lines with the movie screen. And then I asked him when it was over, I was like, did you know I was in a movie? He was like, I had no clue. He was like, I remembered that I always thought that the dancers from the bachelor party were beautiful. He was like, but I didn't realize it was you. And I could tell he didn't when I looked at his face. I mean, when he turned and was like, wait a minute, that's you. He was genuinely surprised. So yeah. And then like a few days later, he was like, oh, I realized I've had bad experiences dating actresses, so maybe we shouldn't date.
It was crazy. Like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah. And we were supposed to go on our third date.
It was consistent. He was being like
consistent and amazing date.
Wait, he did have a problem though.
Yeah, but I don't want people to.
Okay.
Yeah, he also like was talking. He said he dealt with some issues, some personal health issues. Yeah, mental health issues. So I was just like, okay. Yeah, I was like, so I don't want to date anyone who has a bias about my occupation. And you also say you felt like you're not really in a right frame to date. You need a dating break. So yeah, I'm going to wish you best on your journey.
But all of his dating profile pictures had actresses in it. Exactly.
Yeah. So, that was that. I did like him. I thought he was nice. He seemed to be, I mean, he was such a gentleman. Like I felt like I could definitely rest in my feminine. I mean, like I said, he was a gentleman. He had a good job. He's nice and tall, nice build, nice dresser. Like,
all the things checks.
Yeah, checks. But once that came up, I was like, yes, no, I'm good. But that was crazy. when you put it together, I mean,
Yeah,
I mean,
they kind of came at the same
we
time.
live in a world where people deal with all types of stuff. So I've dealt with people who've, you know, had certain disorders or stuff. So yeah, yeah, you have to be patient. But it was more like for me, I have to date someone who understands my job and what I do and respects it. And I just didn't want to date someone who had a bias about it or held resentment.
Right.
Because then you're going to constantly be comparing me to them other chicks. And I don't got time for that at all.
Can't compare lyrics.
Yeah, I'm a one of a kind. What can I say? No, he was about my age. I think maybe a year or two older. Yeah. So I was like, oh, great. Like, found a guy, like, close to my age. Great. And then I was like, oh, no. Yeah. So,
You did try though.
I
You did a great
did.
job.
I did.
I always say it's your graduation that you're working through when you're dating people.
Mhm.
You have to graduate. So you graduated. You gave him a chance. You were open-minded.
Mhm.
You know, like you went out. You looked super cute when you went out.
Thank you.
You were being soft and
Mhm.
caring.
Mhm.
And you even had a conversation with him after the fact.
I did. Because he said once he realized I was an actress, he wanted to ghost me. So that was interesting. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he said he also realized he had bad experiences with women of other occupations as well. So he's like, well, I shouldn't hold that. I shouldn't be like, oh, I can't date an actress because I've also had issues with lawyers. I've had issues with assistants, So I was like, yeah, good point. Okay, what do you think is the hardest guy to date versus the easiest guy to date?
I think a motherfucking liar is the hardest person to date. But the one that you don't know is a liar. And they've gotten you all wrapped up in their lies. And then now you're in there and now you're dating them, but you're kind of conflicted. You're like, sometimes you're telling the truth and then you're lying, but then like it feels good. And then, and then the hardest person, and then they have it.
Okay, yeah.
It's hard.
That would be hard.
Very hard.
But do you think it's because they lie to you and you believe it, it makes you not trust yourself?
Yeah, because I thought I could see a liar. I thought you didn't smell like one. You didn't hate, 4 months maybe. But then now you feel like now you realize that there's this vault of lies. Now you're going back from the 4 months or however much time, and you're like, okay, so when we sat at the bench, was that part a lie? When we went over here on this trip, where did you lie? Because you didn't just start this lie thing. You just been like slow dripping the poison.
Oh,
and now I've just
dripping the poison.
Yes,
gotta sip on that, yeah.
And now it's here. And so instead of like aborting mission, now you kind of want to understand it better, or you want to fix it. A man that you have to fix or that you want to fix is the hard person to date. Because you want to conquer that. It's not easy.
I would definitely say that's a good one. The ones that you feel like you want to fix. Like, no.
Yeah, but then you're convinced that you can, because perhaps you've given them sound advice and you're just like, yeah, you kind of feel like a superhero. Then they don't got no wing.
So what would be the easiest?
For me?
For you.
The easiest what? Explain the question again, Alex.
Easiest type of guy to date.
I don't know the easiest. The easiest would be obviously somebody who's all into you and has a lot of money. That seems easy. That's an easy person to date. Like, sure, I'll go on your yacht. sure, like, thanks for the flowers that got delivered.
Mhm.
Like, that's, oh my gosh, like, and he smells good
Mhm.
and he looks good.
Mhm.
You know, I think that's kind of easy person to date, but like, and realistically, like, an easy person to date would be somebody that would be your friend,
Mhm.
that you're like, no,
I agree with that.
you're my friend.
I
Like,
was gonna
just
say
start hanging
something
out.
similar to
Like,
that.
I like hanging out like two adult dogs, buddies. You know, just kind of like someone that's just like your teammate, and that you don't really. Yes, you have sex and you have intimacy, but it's your friend.
Yeah, and that's usually your friend is your person that you feel most comfortable that you could be authentically yourself with.
Right.
So I definitely would say, because I was going to say something like that person you feel like, you know, if they have a judgment, it doesn't come at you all crazy. Like you're able to talk to them, you're able to be your authentic self, and they could be their authentic self, and that usually happens when it is your friend.
Now, seeing you with your ex person,
Mm-hmm.
I understand better how hard it is for you to go out and try to date people, because that person was an obvious, easy person for you to date.
Yes.
And it was easy for him to date you. Like, you guys weren't dating. You guys were just friends,
Yeah.
buddies, partners, teammates. You guys were do la la la.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was like effortless. There was no trying with that. It
At
was
all.
more so like, what are we going to eat? What do we have to do today? Okay. Like, I got to do this. You got to do that. All right.
Mhm.
Have a good day. Have a good day.
Mhm.
And then come back.
Right.
That was watching you have a eat that. I was like, okay. Thinking about, I was like, there's a lot of effort, but there's not effort. You know, like, if I want to build a statue or something and it's with all my heart, it's going to take effort. However, I'm doing it in a frequency where it doesn't feel like effort. And I think that's what it was. It's effort because you had to open yourself up,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to be like, oh no, we're going to do this, or I'm going to try this. And then me, the cats, I think that I could never get that role because I'm an act single and it's not going to be conducive.
It's not gonna be.
Yeah, I need to know that I'm not single.
Yeah.
Or else I'm going to be hella single.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be it. Mm-hmm. I think instead of acting single, how about we just continue to date intentionally? Like, meaning, like, let me still date you. Let me still court you, even though I know we're together. Let me still set up dates. Let me still do sweet things for you. Let me care for you. I think good love is, and good companionship is literally trying to say, how can I show up and be there for this person? How can I accept them, love them, and make their day a little bit easier? Truthfully, that's what I think it is. Because when you kind of put someone's feelings, first, of course with yours, but put their feelings first, you're putting them in consideration, and you tend to do thoughtful things for them. You keep them in mind, and you just want somebody who constantly wants to keep putting you in mind, keep, spending great time with you, keep giving you great sweet kisses on your forehead, hold your hand, leave your little love note.
Who does? No, we don't. We like the mushy gushy ones.
Very mushy gushy. So
yes, do all of that. I want the pick me a flower if you walked here on the sidewalk. Yes. Absolutely.
Really simple. I'm
Yes.
I'm much more simple than I think
people think.
I think people, because of my occupation and what I've accomplished in my career, they think like, oh, I'm gonna have to do this for her, and I'm gonna have to do that, and I'm like, who said it's
actually
that? Like Portia, who said that? I didn't say that.
No, you're actually really basically simple, like basic simplicity, clean, like picnic. You like the thoughtfulness; it goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that men think that with you or with other model type of women, industry women, they need a lot, but I think it's the opposite, because you get invited to the Bahamas parties, you get all of this free swag, you know, you could come up with a whole bunch of stuff, you get the dinners and all of that stuff that people are just throwing out on you. And for somebody to say, like you said, hear that you like the sandwich at this place, oh my gosh, there's this place I never get a chance to go. Or when they get your sandwich and you're just like, I like chips with my sandwich because this is what I like. And then they do that. Then you're like, oh, out of 1,015 bajillion people, you listened to me when I was crossing the street going to my car, and you remembered it, and you like logged it. And then now you're replaying it in my face. And now that's so fucking thoughtful.
Yeah.
Versus like, oh, I saved my money, all my money. You have all the money. You know, like, yes, a man can have his money, but you get men that push their money and they don't have thoughtfulness.
Yes.
And then you have the broke men usually are very, very thoughtful.
But then some of them don't have money.
Super fucking broke. Yeah. But at the same time, that kind of balances it out, because it's like, okay, what are you working on? Are you an artist? Are you a musician? Like, what is your craft that you're molding right now? Because I could get behind that.
Right.
Knowing that, of course, you have $0, or you're putting all your dollars into your craft. And no, you're not going to take me to Mr. C's right now. But at the same time, like, you have listened to what I said. We're going on these beautiful bike rides. You're super intentional. You're consistent. You care about me. And you do what you can do. You know, you did bring me a bouquet of flowers, or you were there at my birthday, or these different things. I feel like they go a long way with you.
Yeah. I've said to you in some of our heart-to-heart conversations, some men, all they have is their money. They don't have emotional intelligence. They don't have thoughtfulness. They don't have true romance. They're
not kind.
No.
Some men that have like buku bucks.
Some, not all.
Yeah, some.
That's why I said some men, all they have is their money. Some men,
and they lead with that money.
They only lead with their money. And I'm the person that if you are talking sideways or condescendingly to the waiter or the taxi driver, it makes my vagina dry. Like, I'm like, boo, yuck, ugh, nah. Like,
ew.
Ew.
Yeah.
You know what? And I think I've done this with a couple exes. I think it would be wise, and this goes for men and for women, to sometimes if you break up with somebody, but somehow you still have some type of rapport with them,
do an exit review.
What's something that I need to work on, or what was I great at, And really, if you can really have some real self-discovery and practice some self-awareness and really look at how you handled that person and what you really feel you could have done better.
Sometimes it's not you.
Sometimes it's them. Sometimes it's the other person you're dating. It's not even about you.
So what do you think should be done after a breakup?
Truthfully, I think, I know this is going to sound crazy to some people, you should do like an exit review. Like, I've literally at times asked some of my exes, what did I do great? What could I have done better? But it takes a certain level of humility to do that, and really being okay hearing some criticism, And sometimes you find out sometimes they'll say, you were great. It wasn't even about you. It was me. It was bad timing for me, or I'm just not in the right headspace, or, like, you never know, but you're not going to know unless you ask.
Right.
And also, I think in breakups or endings, rather, we need to practice a certain level of self-awareness where we really look deep at ourselves and the situation, the relationship, whatever it was, and say, what was it? How did it start? How did it end? What was I like going through this? What could I have worked on? Because a lot of the answers we know, it's just whether we want to admit it to ourselves or not.
All right.
Yeah.
I wish a man would try to say he wanted more cuddles. That wasn't what he was missing.
Well, if your partner says something that you could have done and you realize you couldn't do that, you have to also accept that you just didn't have the capacity to do that. And then look at why you weren't able to do that.
Right.
And is this something that is just, it goes against your code of conduct for yourself? Is it something that you realize you have a block about and that maybe you need to go sit and talk to the lady? You know, you have to really figure out what it is that can maybe change that. And you have to ask yourself, is this something that you want to do?
Or
What they were asking
with
for.
that person.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're not the person I want to do that with.
That's true too. Ooh, blue.
That's not it.
In a blue.
Yeah, it's just not you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's somebody that you're going to go wake up and make them a sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't him.
Mm-hmm.
You're not him.
That's true.
Like, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, you have to just, but I think that if that's the case, then I look at myself like, well, why did I keep him around that long then if he wasn't him?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not going to get up and make him a sandwich.
That's at least you're having this self-awareness to ask yourself that question.
Right.
Because then that's going to say, okay, I was keeping them around for such and such reason. Okay, well, what's the root of that? And how can I fix or work on that?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's definitely a thing where you have to look inside, but it seems like women, we're the ones always looking inside and analyzing ourselves and coming across these like situations, you know what I mean? It seems that way because you come across men who they don't do an exit review. It's just like, it's given like, all right, bye.
Next.
Right. Mm-hmm. Or maybe not next, and maybe they're butthurt about it. They're not going to go see the lady. They don't talk to no lady, especially she better not be white. And she better not think that she knows more than he does.
And when we say the lady, we talking about the therapist.
Yeah. And so, like, you know, who's doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Men are not doing that.
Well, some men
are not
doing. They not enough are, and that has been one of the issues too. Because I do know, especially with women, a lot of women are going to therapy, but then we're going back out to a dating pool of men who are not going to therapy as well. So then you're kind of sometimes dealing with these guys who have these traumas or issues, which then affects certain emotional issues within you really having a great dating situation. So,
and that's where Miss Save a Ho comes into play. Now we're doing therapy with a man who don't want to pay for it. We're the one doing it because we're just like, oh, you have triggers. Okay, well, let's talk about it. Now you're over here calming Tyrone, and it's just like, no.
Yes,
we don't. I don't have to care.
And it's not your job to do.
No.
A lot of times, I think women take on a lot of emotional labor in relationships that is actually not their responsibility.
Not your portion.
Yeah, it's not your portion. It's something that they really need to go speak to the lady and a really good homeboy who has wisdom and clarity and good character about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like the good homeboy part. Because a good homeboy will have you anchored in understanding that, you know what? There are great men.
Mm-hmm.
This man wasn't him.
Mm-hmm.
Why was I with him?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're getting treated well by a good homeboy.
Mm-hmm.
I think all women should have a good homeboy.
But I'm saying for the men, they should have a good homeboy
for the men. Yes.
So some of them, they either don't really have real heart-to-hearts with their homeboys, or if they do, you talking to your A-ish homeboy, which he not going to give you the real tea of how to handle that awesome woman most of the time. So especially that's why I say you have to have a good homeboy who has good character and wisdom. And also go talk to the lady.
Right.
The therapist.
What's your Yelp review like?
What's your Yelp review giving?
Yeah, what is it giving? What are the reviews? Like, I want to know the referrals. How would your exes speak of you?
I'm going to have to ask that tomorrow night.
How would they speak of you? Because it's like, you know, like, you don't have to be cool with them, but they can still have respect. They can still say, oh, yeah, well, you know, he was a good person, or, you know, she was a good person, da-da-da-da-da. Oh, he just was a liar, or just, what is it? Like, what's the review? Because I want to know the receipts. Because obviously you're not going to go to a job like, man, I was late every day. I was doing all this stuff. I was smoking on the job. You're not going to go to your new job. You're trying to get hired. You're going to present your best self and the best
But how do you know they're gonna really give you the real receipts of what the ex would say?
You can just tell with the conversation. You're just having a real conversation. Like it's like a real nigga roll call. Like, what would they say? What would they say?
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of them say, "Oh yeah, me and my ex. Oh, she hates my guts," or "I really fucked that up."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I
How
can
would you
respect
take
that.
that?
Yeah, and or she tries to talk to me, but I'm still butthurt about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, or she was a good girl, it just was bad timing.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you're talking to them for real, then I've gotten real good Yelp reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Not from me, but the men have told me about their past.
Okay.
They've told me the actual reviews. I'm like, okay, this is, I could see why I would still hire you.
Mm-hmm.
To keep my eye on you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll hire you.
Okay.
You know? So you never done that before?
Ask them about theirs? Not
Yeah.
really.
Because it's like we're all presenting.
I said, I'm gonna ask tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Hey, boo.
What would your exes say about you?
I mean, I do ask questions like, what happened in your last relationship? Why didn't it work out? I ask that. But I think that was really good how you said, what would your ex say about you?
Yeah, how would they speak on you?
How would they speak of you? Mm-hmm. I think that's a different question. Similar, but it's different. And I think that's a great question to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Changes the perspective.
Oh, absolutely.
But I was asking, what would your exes say about you? Your last two.
The last two. So would that be?
You know them.
Wait a minute.
I'm not doing this.
Wait a minute. Ironically, they kind of both had the same issue.
We could get to that later.
Yeah, much later. Not tonight. They would say she really loved on me and I had some unfinished business. And although she really gave me her heart, I wasn't in a place to receive her wholly.
Yeah.
And yeah. I mean, you know, that specific one.
No, that's very honest.
What I'm talking about.
That's why I said it's beautiful.
He did say, he was like, it has nothing to do with you. You were amazing to me. You're a beautiful soul. He said, you helped me to be a better person. And I was like, wow. Isn't it crazy though? You can help somebody to be a better person. No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy a man can say like, you helped me to be a better person and you were amazing, but like,
I'm gonna say no to the Lakers.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no to playing with LeBron.
Yeah.
What?
Okay.
But you know, if it's better to not be with somebody who's not able to fully receive you and the love and the heart and the kindness and the aura and greatness and intelligence that you give.
All of that.
Let me go where I'm celebrated and not tolerated. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
I wish him well. I know he'll be watching this. He watches 8 at the Table.
Everybody watches 8 at the Table. Did you have anything else you'd like to add to this beautiful relationship conversation featuring Lyris Cross?
Oh my gosh.
If you were to utilize this as a time capsule for yourself in your love life with relationships, what would you like to speak on your future self that would be watching this? Even that person could be the person tomorrow. What would you tell yourself in reference to, you know, good old college try with this love thing?
Oh, well, I love love. I feel like I'm always going to try to date, even if at times I can be guarded.
Sorry.
I'm for real.
I know. It's just funny the way you're very like guarded, and all I see is just like locked up. You're like guarded.
Won't let me out. Won't let. He's like,
yeah.
No, but I've always been like a love bug. So, like, I'm the type person who used to grab on my grandmother or my mom's leg and be like, I love you so much, and they be trying to walk around the kitchen. Like, and even on my Insta story, I post about couples and love and all types of stuff. And I'm like, y'all, sometimes it got to do with me, but a lot of times it don't. Like, I'm just spreading love. That's just how I am. But I'm going to always love. But I know that the greatest love is finding me very, very soon. And no matter what I've been through, I'm going to continue to put one foot in front of the other.
And you talk to yourself.
I'm going to continue to put one foot in front of the other and give it that good old college try. Because in the end, finding someone that you genuinely love and care about is priceless, especially when they love you too.
Beautiful.